Ooh, there we go. That's a good time to start this video. Should we just pause here? I think it's 12:30. So we've got a little bit to go through. Anyway, welcome to my little Italian house. I'm up here on the terrace. The sun is just to my left. It's a wonderful autumnal day. There we go, 12:30, almost time for lunch. And I thought I would come out here and, well, bring you guys with me. Hopefully you can feel the sun through the screen. Wonderful day here in Italy. It's been just perfect blue sky the entire week I've been here. And I thought I would finally answer the question that so many of you have been asking since I bought my little Italian house over 5 years ago. In fact, I'm coming up to the 5-year anniversary of when I got the keys. And I remember that day so clearly. It was late November 2020, still in the middle of a pandemic. And it had been a complicated process because of the pandemic. It added to it being just a little bit more drawn out than I think usually it would have been. But I got there in the end, got the keys, well, virtually, late November 2020. And here we go, 5 years later. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? 5 years later, I'm sitting on my terrace. I'd say 95% of the house is renovated, and the only 5% left I have to do is the outside of the house, which I've talked about in a previous video, that I need to do some rendering around it and choosing that right color, etc., etc. Anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the beginnings. When I started filming these renovation videos and day in the life and antiques, flea markets, etc. here in Italy, so many of you have asked, how much did I pay for my little Italian house? And today is the day I'm going to tell you. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened step by step. And those of you who are interested in buying in Italy, I know you can do it. If I was able to do it, you're able to do it as well. This has just been an incredible dream come true. Buying a place in Italy has been something that I've always dreamed of, probably since my early 20s. One of my first visits over here, I thought this country is amazing. The food, the culture, the language, the weather, going in and out of these incredible medieval villages, and the history is just extraordinary. Anyway, it wasn't until 2019 that that dream became a reality. So I was fortunate enough to have been gifted personally a little bit of money, but not enough to buy something outright. And that's where I'll get into the mortgage further into this video. But enough, let's say that I was looking at buying those €1 houses that you read about all of the time, and then having just that little pot of money that I could put down in order to make sure that it had been renovated. I think there's rules around it being sort of renovated within 3 to 5 years. Don't quote me on that, but something along those lines. And so I thought, with this little pot of money that somebody gifted me, I might be able to just buy a €1 house and renovate it. And so I started to look in 2019 for these €1 houses. And the more that I looked deeper into the scheme, the more it became apparent, at least to me, that it was quite a complicated process. Now, there are many people out there, especially on YouTube, who have done exactly that and have been hugely and wildly successful in buying these €1 houses. But for me, I felt it would have required a lot more of my time here in Italy, and of course, balancing my time between buying a new property in a foreign country and, of course, everything I have to do back in England, in particular with running Mapperton with my husband Luke, our own historic house. It would eat up too much of my time. And also, many of the €1 houses were in areas of Italy that are beautiful and wonderful, but I wasn't keen on buying in that area. I had it in my head, and again, this goes back to those dreams that I had when I was in my 20s, that I would buy in Tuscany, because that was the first area that I visited. First time whenever I visited Italy, I went to Tuscany, as I think many people do as well. And I thought, this is where I want to buy. So looking for those €1 houses in Tuscany, there are a few, but you've got to be quick. and you have to put, I think, a lot of time and effort into it.
Quick heads up, you guys. Foreo's Black Friday is officially live with offers up to 50% off.
You guys, it's always so exciting to be back here at my little Italian house, and it just feels so good to be home. Like the air, the light, the slower rhythm, and it's exactly what my soul and honestly my skin needs. And so I brought my FAQ 202 by Foreo with me, along with, of course, my UFO 3, because even in Italy, I'm keeping up with my skincare rituals.
I'm using the FAQ Red Light Peptide Serum. You can apply it before the LED mask to enhance the glow, or just simply use it on its own.
So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have been using and obsessed with these Foreo products for years. So this new generation LED face mask has become a real favorite. It's ultra lightweight, it's wireless, it's made from like soft, flexi fit silicone that hugs your face perfectly. And again, I just press this universal button to turn it on, then a quick press to change between the 8 LED wavelengths, including near infrared light that helps with the sign of aging, hello, and each light targets something different. So like fine lines, redness, dullness, and I can keep it on for up to 15 minutes while I get on with my day. And when I'm finished, I just hold the button here for 3 seconds to turn it off. And it leaves my skin feeling smoother, firmer, and more even toned. Exactly the kind of natural glow that belongs here under the Tuscan sun. And when I want something extra, I open up the FAQ Swiss app for custom treatments. And then in the evenings, I'll use my UFO 3 for a quick 2-minute spa facial, perfect to the end of a day unpacking, or if I'm watering up on my terrace, or if I'm doing the pretend Italian cooking show, cooking.
You guys, Black Friday won't last. So click the link in the description below and use 35Julie at checkout for an additional 35% off nearly all Foreo products, stacked on their best deals, up to 50% off.
Because whenever I'm in Italy or at Maperton or somewhere in between, glowing skin is always part of the ritual. So I started looking further afield, like, right, I've got this little pot of money, what can I buy? Like, as in buy without going down the €1 scheme. And that was complicated because it was a little pot of money and it wasn't gonna get me very much. But somebody put me onto an area of Tuscany, which I'm in now, the northern part of Tuscany, called the Lunigiana. And somebody mentioned to me that it might be a little bit less expensive to buy here as opposed to buying around Firenze or so Florence and Lucca. And I started to hone in on this area. And let's fast forward to February 2020. I had zoomed in on this area and I contacted a property management company and asked them, who are based both, by the way, in Lucca and also in London. And I saw one of their properties online and I contacted them and I said, I'm interested in buying in this area. Would they be able to show me some properties? So sure enough, they said, yes. What's your budget? And I said, well, my budget is really like 100,000 euros or less. And that's only if I could get a mortgage. So they were fantastic. They're, by the way, if you're wondering who they are, it's called Property Organizers. And I know several of you who have bought houses in Italy have used them as well, hopefully by watching a previous video that I did about a few years ago on how I bought a house in Italy. But now I'm giving you the real details. And so they knew what my budget was, around 100,000 euros. And they said, right, come on out, February 2020. That's right. Just before the pandemic and just before what we all didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. And I flew out here and was able to tour really about, I think it was between 10 to 12 different properties. And I was quite specific and on what I wanted with my house that I hopefully was going to purchase. And again, that was Tuscany. So here I am in northern Tuscany. The price point, about 100,000 euros or less. And also, I wanted a place that I could walk everywhere. So I knew it needed to be near a town center or a small village center so I could literally walk and get a cup of coffee. I mean, that was on my list. And that was it. 3 kind of markers: Tuscany, 100,000 euros or less, and I need to be able to walk to get an Americano. And this house here was probably either the last or the second to last house that we went to see that day. I brought Jack, our number 2 out of 4 child, who at that time was learning Italian. He wasn't fluent, now he is fluent, but he was definitely helpful because around here it was very difficult. Nobody, which quite right, they shouldn't be speaking English. We are in Italy. They should be just speaking their own language, Italian. And I brought Jack along and he was absolutely brilliant. So when I saw this house and walked in it, I thought, oh my gosh, please let this be the right price. This is the house I want. Please, 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 because I knew that it was livable, but it then needed some renovation, which could wait. And that was my thought process as well. What can I buy now with roughly 100,000 euros? By the way, that was not in the pot. That was with getting a mortgage. And that I could then live here, oversee the renovation projects little by little, and take my time with it, but just purchase the property. And it would still be standing, regardless of a renovation. And this was the house, because the other houses that I visited were too far away from a city center, or they just didn't have the right feel. I didn't feel that there was much of a community around. I wanted that as well. I wanted that community local feel. And I remember going into the piazza here at Fivizzano afterwards with the person who was representing property organizers. And we sat and we had un cafe at Bar El Vatico, which is still my favorite place to go. I think because it has so much good meaning for me and good memories of sitting in that cafe with the goal of negotiating a price for this house. And that's exactly what I did. I sat there and I said, I want to buy this house. And it was a little bit above the 100,000 euro marker, just a tiny bit. And I said to her, okay, I have X amount to put down. Will that get me a mortgage? And I'm going to let you guys figure it out for yourself. But she said, yes, it will. Because in Italy, in order to get a mortgage, you really need to put down around 50, minimum of 50%. But I think that might have even gone up of the price agreed. And in my case, as a foreigner coming in here, I needed to put down 60% or above. And luckily, I had that 60%. So my little pot had just the right amount to purchase this house, which was, we negotiated the price, and it was just over 100,000 euros. So I did buy this house for just over 100,000 euros, just a little bit over. Now that basically wiped out my little pot. I'm not even kidding you. That wiped it out, and with just a little bit of other savings that I had separately from the gift that I was given, I was able to pay for, in particular, the fees that were needed. So a notary, I had to get a translator for all of the documents. Obviously there was the property management fee, so the seller's fee, but all of that totaled, I did a video on that earlier. All of that I think totaled around 7,500 euros. So an extra 7,500 euros. And that's everything included, of start to finish, of basically all the admin, lawyer fees, notary, etc. That I had to pay in order to secure this house. And that wasn't up front. You know, that was from February when I said I wanted the house up until, as I mentioned earlier, I basically got the virtual keys the end of November. So I was able to, in one sense, spread out roughly around 7,500 euros. And of course, the same with the 60% for the mortgage. I didn't have to put that down right away. I had to put down 10% of the agreed price. And after the 10%, then it wasn't until a few months further down that I had to put a little bit more down. And then of course, when we closed, the rest of it down. But that was, of course, it gave me the time to find a mortgage. And that's where property organizers were incredibly helpful.
So the sound isn't going to be as good as it was the first half of the video because while I was filming, a big gust of wind came and pushed over my tripod, and I need to get my mics fixed. And as I was saying earlier, getting a mortgage, it's not as complicated as you might think it could be, especially if you're coming from a foreign country. Property organizers were fantastic. But again, as I mentioned before, there's lots of other property management companies who will be able to help you with this. But again, for me, I knew that I had to have 60% of the purchase price, which is exactly what I had, like literally exactly what I had. So once I was able to go through all of the admin, the documents, the lawyers, the notary, and again, I've got another video about this that I did probably about 3 years ago, but it's still very relevant. Do check that out if you're interested in buying, because it talks about a lot of the different costs. But so I put down the 60%. I was able to get my mortgage, which was fantastic. The period between February, when I first put an offer on the house, to the end of November, when I finally got the keys, I was again able to save up a little bit of money as well to put towards those extra costs. So once I arrived here, not until a year later, 2021, which is crazy, I was just so pleased because it was quite a sweat, not only purchasing a property in a foreign country, but getting the mortgage and doing this all through the pandemic. But you can do it, is what I'm saying. If I was able to do it, you are able to do it. And you can absolutely get a mortgage. But again, it goes back to those rules. It's around 50 to 60%. For me, it had to be no less than 60% of the purchase price. And so now you know how much my little Italian house actually cost. And I do think it was such a great deal, if I've got to be honest with you. And for me, not only was I able to purchase this dream house, at least I think of it as a dream house, my little Italian house, but I was able to take the time to renovate. So it goes back to what I talked about earlier, was making sure that I found something that was in my price range, in the location I wanted it to be, in walking distance to the piazza, but also something that I knew I could live in while the renovations were being done. And so over the course of the next 4 years, really from 2021, when I came back here for the first time after seeing it in 2020, 2021 up until now, 2025, I've been slowly renovating it and finding amazing flea markets all across Italy and purchasing incredible, well, at least what I think are incredible vintage treasures. And I just feel really fortunate because for me, I was able to live here at my little Italian house and do the works quite slowly, which actually works out really well for anybody who's done some work here in Italy. It's not the fastest process, but for me, the timing and the easygoing way that the Italians have as far as building works goes, that worked perfectly for me because I wasn't in a rush. I needed to go back and forth between England and Italy during the works. And again, I feel very fortunate that there are about, I don't even know how many flights to Pisa a day from London, but over a dozen, if not even more. And I was very lucky to be able to have that close connection between London and Pisa so I could get here quite quickly when needed. And again, my renovation took around 4 years for it to finally finish. I'm 95% there. Just need to do the exterior, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. So if you are interested in buying your dream house in Italy, I know you can do it. I did it. I just explained how you can definitely do it. Just get your budget, find the area, know what you want as far as location of the house. And then again, if you were like me and you needed to take a lot of time to renovate, just make sure maybe you find a house that you can live in while you're doing the renovations. I have to say that was probably key for me. And one of the best decisions I ever made was buying my little Italian house. Anyway, ci vediamo presto. I hope this video was helpful for you. So be sure to like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and see you here in Italy. Ci vediamo presto.